Okay guys, so I'm gonna do a video for you on how I count calories when I make a meal from scratch at home. It's been super highly requested. This is like, besides what calorie counter app I use, people are constantly DMing me about it. So I'm gonna start with this recipe. We're gonna make black bean and corn quesadillas. This one's a little bit of an easier one where almost everything has a package to go off of, but I'll do a more complicated one with like lots of fruits and vegetables or something like that where you don't necessarily have a package to go off calories. So to start, I'm gonna get a sticky note and I'm gonna write down like all of my different ingredients that I need for my recipe. So I've got like onion, corn, beans, salsa, brown sugar, red pepper flakes, cheese, tortillas written down so that I have a quick notepad and I'm gonna jot down the calories or the grams or whatever for each. So to start off, I just have a regular saucepan. Maybe I'll turn it a little bit this way. Let's see, okay. And I'm going to spray in some of this extra virgin olive oil cooking spray instead of using olive oil, because this cooking, I'm not using it a lot, I'm just using it to kind of cook up these dried onion flakes. So I don't need a lot of it, and this is 0 calories as opposed to like normal olive oil that is 120 calories per tablespoon. So since this cooking spray doesn't have any calories, I didn't write it on my list because I know I don't have to count it. Then I'm gonna do a ½ tablespoon of these dried onion flakes. I'm gonna put them in there and it's just gonna be really quick to kind of like almost saute them, but not quite saute them since they're already dry. But I'm gonna get my other ingredients ready so I don't burn those. Okay, so stir that around. I'm gonna add a can of corn. I'm gonna add a can of black beans in here. So these chopped onion, dried onion flakes was a little bit more complicated of an ingredient because there's no nutrition information on it. So what I did with this one is I Googled how many calories are in onion flakes or dry chopped onion or something like that, and I look for 2 to 3 different sources that say the same thing. So when I looked this up, there was 3 different websites that said a tablespoon of this was 17 calories. So I put in a ½ tablespoon, including my calorie counter app. My calorie counter app said it was 17 calories for for a tablespoon of that. So putting in ½ tablespoon means that it's 8.5 calories for the ½ tablespoon of dried onion. Anytime I have a decimal, I always round up. So I'm going to put 9 calories. That's cute. That was really bad. 9 calories for my onion. So then I added all my ingredients really quick so that like the onion didn't burn. But normally I would kind of look at this before I added everything in. So the whole entire can of corn, it's 80 calories per serving, which is a ½ cup, but there's 3.5 servings per container. So you'll take the 80 calories times it by 3.5, which is 280. And then I'll do the same thing for my black beans. It's 110 per serving, but the servings per container, because I use the entire container, 3.5. So I'll times 110 times 3.5, which is 385. The next thing I'm gonna add is a ¼ cup of this salsa. So it says that the serving size is 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters, and it's 10 calories. So one way I can do this is take my ¼ cup weigh it on my food scale, zero it out, add in my salsa in the milliliters, and then do the calories that way. But since the serving size is 2 tablespoons and I don't need a lot, I'm just going to do it via the tablespoons. So there's 16 tablespoons in a cup. So if I need a 1/4 cup, I need 4 tablespoons. So I need 2 servings of this, which is 20 calories. So I know if I add a 1/4 cup, it's 20 calories of salsa. And I'll write that down on my paper. 20 calories for salsa. Okay, my next ingredient is the crushed red pepper flakes. Again, this one doesn't have any information. And usually your spices have 0 calories altogether. So this I decided to look up because I felt like the dried onion, like that's gonna have more calories than something like just a seasoning. So this one, look it up, 0 calories. I'm going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of this. Yeah. And then my last ingredient is a tablespoon of brown sugar. So this one is 30 calories per 8 grams or 2 teaspoons. And there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So I can just times this by 1.5. So it's 45 calories for 1 tablespoon of this. Again, like if you don't know the measurements of the teaspoons, tablespoons, cups, all that kind of stuff, the most accurate reading you're gonna get is to just do everything by the grams or the milliliters. And you can just do that, like you can zero out your spoon, scoop it up, and see how much the actual food weighs, and then just do it based off that. But since this is such small amounts, I'm just doing it with the tablespoons, teaspoons, cups, that kind of stuff. So 45 calories for brown sugar. Don't want to drop that. 0 for the red pepper flakes. Okay, now I'm just gonna mix everything together. Put it on a medium heat. And just cook that until it's all warm, cooked all the way through. And you know what? I'm actually gonna just add in another 1/2 tablespoon because I don't think it's gonna have enough onion. I'm gonna get that to the bottom so it can kind of saute, but I'm gonna add the extra other calories because now I put a full tablespoon in, so it's 17 calories in onion. Okay, so now that our like black bean and corn mixture is all done, I'm going to set it to the side because I'm going to start assembling the actual quesadillas. So what I did is just grab like a Tupperware that I'm going to like store it in anyway. I usually make like, if I'm going to go through the whole process of making a meal and like count out all the calories, usually I'll make a little bit more so I have leftovers in the fridge, so it's like a quick grab and go. This Tupperware is probably too big, but I'm just going to use it. So what I'm going to do is take my Tupperware, put it on my food scale, turn it on, and I'm going to zero it out. So I'll zero it out so that it's not counting the weight of my Tupperware now. And that's what this tare button does. Every food scale will have a tare button. And we're just gonna take the entire mixture and weigh it. Add it to the Tupperware. Okay, and then you're gonna total up all your numbers for the mixture. So I totaled up the onion, corn, beans, salsa, brown sugar, pepper flakes, all that kind of stuff. And my total is 747 calories. So that's how many calories are in this entire black bean corn mixture. So now I'm weighing it, and it's 534 grams for that entire mixture. So I'm gonna write that down, 534 grams. Okay, so now we're gonna set that aside, and we're gonna start the actual quesadillas. For my quesadillas, I am using these carb counter tortillas. They are only 50 calories per tortilla. So I'm gonna be using 2 of those. So I'm going to write down 100 calories because 2 tortillas, 50 each, is 100 calories. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this mild cheddar cheese, but it's fat-free. It's the lowest calorie that you can get if you choose something that's fat-free. For your dairy products, that'll be the lowest calorie. So it's 45 calories for a 1/4 cup or for 28 grams. And if this was like, I'm just using a tablespoon and the serving size was a tablespoon, I would just do that. But because it starts to get into bigger measurements, if I do a 1/4 cup, like that can kind of vary sometimes. I go a little bit over, a little bit not. So I prefer to do it based on the grams. So I'm going to start by measuring out about how much cheese I want. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. So I'm gonna take my food scale again. I'm gonna just take a bowl and I'm going to zero out my bowl so it doesn't count the weight of the bowl on my food scale. And then I'm going to measure out about how much cheese I think I want on. Okay, so I've weighed out about 59 grams of cheese in here. And for right now, I'm just gonna write 49 or 59 grams on my cheese section because I might add a little bit more, I might not use as much, but I want to be able to weigh out more if I want to, so I'll figure out the calories for the cheese in just a second. So I'm going to take one of my tortillas, turn on my skillet. I'll let that heat up for a second, so I'm gonna start heating that up. Again, I'm gonna do just a little spray of the olive oil cooking spray. And don't try to use this like regular olive oil. Like, don't try to substitute this in a recipe. I just use it if it's just like a little bit to get like something, like it's just a little something sauteed, that kind of stuff, because it's way less calories, but it's not just olive oil. It has like aerosol stuff in it. So anyway, I'm going to put my tortilla on, start getting that kind of hot. And then I'm gonna start adding my cheese, and I'm just going to pull it from this and leave this on the food scale. I'm just gonna put cheese on half because I like to fold over my tortilla. Okay, so I end up using almost all of it, so I'm just gonna dump it all on. So now I know 59 calories, or 59 grams of cheese, didn't need any more than that. So I'm gonna take the same bowl then, and I'm going to do the same with that mixture now. We're going to eyeball about how much of this mixture I want on my quesadilla. Make sure your bowl was zeroed out. Probably like that much. Okay, I have 137 grams of the mixture. I'm gonna add that onto my quesadilla. That was a ton, but it's gonna be delicious. Okay, so now I'm gonna fold over my tortilla before I completely burn it. Okay, so this quesadilla ended up being like actually really big, so I'm not gonna make another one. So I'm gonna take away 50 calories for the tortilla I didn't use. Just add that to my tortilla section. Okay, so now that we have our quesadilla all done, it's a huge quesadilla, we're gonna total all the calories. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is calculate how many calories that cheese was. So to do that, remember it's 45 calories for 28 grams. So you're going to do 45 divided by 28 times 59 because that's how many grams I had. So the 45 divided by 28 will give you the calories per gram. So then if you times that per grams that you had, that'll give you the total calories for the serving that you poured yourself. So my serving size, remember, rounded up, because if it's a decimal, I always round up. It was 95 calories. So I wrote that down. And then we're going to do the same thing for our black bean and corn mixture. So remember that we knew the total calories was 747 calories. The serving size is the whole entire container, which was 534 grams. So you're gonna do the same thing. And I remember I poured myself 137 grams of the mixture for my one quesadilla. So you'll do 747 divided by 534, which will give you the calorie per gram count, times 137, which will give me 191.82 whatever. So I wrote down 192. So now the last thing you have to do is total it all up. So 50 calories for my tortilla plus 95 calories in cheese is 145 calories plus 192 calories for the black bean mixture. So my entire, 145 plus 192 is 337 calories for my entire quesadilla. Now, one extra thing I'm going to do for me, because I think it's delicious, is I'm going to just put my entire plate on my food scale, zero it out, and I'm gonna add a little dipping sauce. So I do light sour cream. It's 35 calories for 30 grams. Make sure my plate is all zeroed out. That's 33 grams. And then I add hot sauce, which is 0 calories. Typically it is 0 calories when it's a hot sauce. And I'll add that right on top of my homemade spicy sour cream. Very secret. So to find out the calories for my sour cream, honestly, the nice thing about a calorie counter app, and I can do it with this one as well. I just wanted to show you how you can do it manually, but you scan the barcode, make sure the information on the bag is matching the information that shows up in your calorie counter app. Trust the bag over the calorie counter apps, and then you can set the serving size to grams, which is what I'll do just with this. I'll scan my Daisy, set the serving size to grams, and move it to 33 grams, which will give me the correct amount of calories. So now the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log it in my calorie counter app, and because it was an at-home recipe, I don't want to add in corn, black beans, this and that to my entire calorie counter app, because I already know that this is 337 calories for my quesadilla. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna look up the term quesadilla. That'll help me to remember what I ate. And I'm going to just move it to grams and just keep moving those grams up or down until it says 337 grams for whatever quesadilla, or 337 calories for a quesadilla. So now the last thing I do is I just take the total calories for that mixture, that meal that I made, and divide it by the total weight, the total grams. So that was the 747 for that black bean and corn mixture is how many calories, and there was 534 grams for the entire thing. So that means that that meal is 1.4 calories per gram. So I'm going to stick this on my little Tupperware here so that I know that I can make myself another quesadilla, and I'll just weigh out how much of the mixture I use, and I can just times it by that number. So if I make myself another quesadilla and I use only like 100, let's say 100 grams of that mixture onto my quesadilla, times 100 times 1.4 is gonna give me 140. So 140 calories for my portion. And that's how I keep track of that.